Oh, no chocolates today, Mr. Woods?
No, Ruby. This is all I need. Papa always told me, life is like a box of lollipops. All the flavor and fiber you'll ever need to get far in life. And boy, was he right. I never really had an end goal. Never had a reason to stop either. All I knew was I could run forever with one. Until I ran out.
And then what?
I went home.
Oh.
Konbawa, and welcome to CITIUS Mag live from the World Championships, Day 9. Chris Chavez here with Eric Jenkins and Mac Fleet. We've still got some guys over at the stadium as the men's discus competition is still taking place because of a rain delay. It was absolutely pouring rain out there, so that means Paul Hof-Mahoney is out there. Preet Majithia is still in the mix zone, gathering some interviews. Mitch Dyer is also doing some TV work, and while Matt Denny is throwing, he's got to stay there. So, smaller crew for the last night, but overall, I mean, like, we took in all of the action, ready to talk and break down everything that took place on the final night of the World Championships. A reminder that our presenting sponsor of the World Championships is ASICS. Without them, none of this would have been possible for us to have as big of a crew here, and to be able to bring you as much coverage as we have across podcasts, newsletters, articles, social content, these shows. So we are eternally grateful to them for all of their support. On my way back here, I had to, I was walking, and since it's been pouring rain, I was like, I wish I had my Nova Blast on, because it was getting a little bit slippery out there, and so I love the Nova Blast's grip, especially for some of those rainy runs, and so loved it. It's still pouring rain out there, so got to be careful with this knee. But get your hands on a pair of the Nova Blast, crush those miles, and yeah, let's get into it. Eric, tonight was awesome, and we're going to kick things off with discussion over the men's 5K. When we came into this race, we thought that it is the perfect blend of the speed side of things, where you have those 1,500 studs, you have the strong guys coming down from the 10K. You make them meet in the middle, and you can get a tactical affair that crescendos with a blistering final lap. And so we got just that, as Cole Hocker is your men's 5K world champion with just an exquisite final 300 meters, where he moved his way at the bell. He was sitting in, let's see,
like sixth, or like even more back. I mean, he was kind of back in the pack.
Am I seeing this right? It was 12th.
That makes sense. Yeah,
He was 12th at the bell, then at 4,700 meters, 9th, 4,800 meters, 5th, with 100 meters to go, 2nd, and then closes it out to win it in 12:58.3, which is really funny because all throughout these championships, we saw these slower races, and we also were thinking that, if it ends up being a race in the 1310s, it's Cole Hocker's to win, most likely. And even when I did the podcast with him post USA, is like that was part of the reason why he wanted to get after this event. He was like, I've just seen this race go slow so many times that like they would tee it up for him to win. And today, I guess, like he kind of proved that like doesn't have to be that slow. He can still he's got the best kick in the entire field, and he wins it. Just exquisite redemption, I would say. After the DQ in the 1500, he had a baller quote after the race. Let me see if I could pull it up really quick. But he said, not to have the opportunity to race the 1500 really hurt. I had to recalibrate and think, how do I redeem that? There was only one answer. And today he provided that for the fans and makes history. Third American to win the global 5K title. Bob Scholl in Tokyo back in 1964. Bernard Lagat in 2007. And now Cole Hocker. He wins when it matters most. So, Eric, you have kind of been riding the high of like picking Cole as the favorite to this. Like, what did you see in the rounds, and then ultimately in how he executed this race early on, up in the front? Kind of, they let him kind of lay it up for him to set it up.
Yeah, first off, I mean, what an incredible race.
Yeah.
Probably, and it's fresh in my mind, so that could be a lot of why I'm saying this, but it's one of the best 5Ks, honestly, I've ever seen. Cole has he's looked great in the opening round, and he looks very comfortable at this distance. I was in a slow race. Yes, his kick is it's one of the best in the world, if not the best in the world. So he's going to be a factor in it. But this was a sub 13 race, and the kick was still just as lethal. I was surprised, like right off the gun, I was surprised to see the tactics of I had been talking a lot about how the Americans usually don't work together.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like there was some coordination on the part of maybe Nico and Grant. Like Cole goes out to the front, takes the lead, what he's done in the past in this event, and pushes it. He's not really going for it, but he's just kind of stretching out the legs a bit, staying out of trouble. And then Grant and Nico start making it a pretty honest race, clicking off, what was it, 62s, 63s maybe, and sharing the workload, which is, I can't remember the last time I've seen something like that in a world championship final, making it a very honest race. They came through 3K in 7:51. I'm like, okay, they're really going for it. And then still to see that it's a sub 13 race, and it was packed up like it was a sit and kick.
It was like, yeah,
everyone was there.
Everyone at the bell.
I mean, Cole was 12th at the bell, in a big pack, and they're bunching up. So there were points in that race where I'm like, is it slowing down? Is it just because you at 13 flat pace and under, it's usually it's one straight line. So to see everybody in the hunt at the bell just shows you how great all these athletes are. But yeah, the Cole Hocker, man, at about 200, 150, it's hit. It's his.
Mm-hmm.
The way when he's coming up on the shoulder, and he always has something special in that last 100. And so to see him at 150 to go on making the moves, you go, okay, he's got it. Like it was an amazing thing to watch. He's got to be feeling so elated to come away with a gold medal in an event that's, not his primary event.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, what else could you say about that? Nico Young ran well. Didn't end up on the podium, but
he was sixth. 13 flat.
And this is another just a great learning opportunity for the guy. The more finals he makes, which I'm sure he will, is just going to get better and better, more comfortable out there. But yeah, I mean, man, what a race.
Okay, so one thing I want to point out, because I've pulled up the final 200 meters of this race in front of me. Unfortunately, can't show it to you guys because we don't have rights to any of this broadcast footage. But I guess, Eric, the thing that stands out too is that, you know, we had a caller on Off the Rails earlier this week say it's like, oh yeah, we need a nickname for some of these runners, and like for Cole Hocker, it's the rail merchant or something like that, because he's always on the rail. Turns out he doesn't need it. You know, in the final lap of today's race, most of it was in lane 2, and it was very, very impressive because I mean he outkicked, you know, the likes of Gressier, who you know, had a lethal kick to win the 10K. Isaac Camelli, who we saw this kick at the Brussels Diamond League. Cole got it done without having to hug the rail.
I think you're going to see less of Cole hugging the rail going forward, because it's just this is to get DQ'd and not make that 1500 final when he's clearly in some of the best shape of his life, if not the best shape of his life. I think, and you saw this, and the fitter he gets, the more you can take bigger chances, right? You don't need to be riding the rail if you are just a level above all these guys. And with about 450 to go, you saw he had to leave the rail.
Yeah, someone pointed it out. 22 out of the 25 turns on the rail, but when he left, it paid off.
Yeah, I was going to say it's awesome to see him kind of figure out how to run these 5,000 meter championship races, and he's been trying over the last couple of years to attack a fast one in a Diamond League, or we saw him in LA 2 years ago. And even when he gets out after these fast ones, he's running like 12:58, 12:56, I think is maybe his PB. But he can't really like crack into those 40s like we've seen Grant and Nico do. So, but that doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like we saw him do exactly what he did at USA's. You know, the paces are a little different. We also saw him do it in the prelim of the 5,000 meters. So he's figured his race out. And yeah, he was on the rail the entire time. He got out in the lead and was just on the rail the entire time until basically a lap to go. I mean, Eric and I were commenting on it, like for 4,000 meters, his head was straight down staring at like Gressier's heels. Just didn't move an inch. And then also when Nico and Grant really like kind of pushed the pace there early, he didn't respond right away. He just he kind of let the field pull that gap in themselves, and he didn't overreact to it. So, man, what a run. Like think of just the ups and downs of this championships for him, and to be able to kind of recalibrate and set his sights on a different goal than maybe he went into this originally thinking. It's cool as hell. And then also you have to think of like, I mean, now we're getting the whole like legacy, you know, talk of Cole Hocker, and yes, he already has an Olympic gold, but like him winning a 5,000 meter in a different event now, you know, and then we're talking about like we get a healthy Yaka back, and now we see some different racing styles against each other. It's hard for me to not think of like the clashes that we're going to get in the next few years between Cole and some of the other best in the world.
I mean, think about just his year in general, right? Like post Olympic final, and he couldn't get a win
to save his
life. And he was patient, trusted that he just, you know, you hear the saying, trust the process a lot, but man, the guy did that. He goes to Grand Slam and was kind of getting worked by some of the other favorites, and still just kept it going, stayed healthy, and then turned the corner right around. Around USA's. But even there in the 15, you know, he still came in third, and then, but man, just to see him come through with a win like this is. It's a monumental achievement. You talked about legacy, and with just as soon as he crosses that finish line today, he's in the conversation for being but maybe the greatest American distance runner.
Wow!
To win the Olympic gold, in an Olympic record time is already something so few people have done on the American side. And then to the very next year, 5,000 meter world title against a field like this. You can't overstate how big this was.
Right. And a little bit of recency bias. Like obviously we have Bernard.
Yes.
And Matthew, who has more global medals than Cole does.
Absolutely.
Galen. But Galen never got the gold.
Never gold. And doing it in 2 events is something that's, I don't know. It just shows the range and the type of athlete that Cole is certainly special. Man, what a fantastic race. That was awesome.
Yeah. If you think about just kind of like how successful the United States was in the distance events at the Paris Olympics, like overall, it didn't go quite as well this time around. And, up until tonight, no medals. And then Cole was there to save that. And also, I guess like we're going to live with the biggest what if in our heads is what if he had never gotten DQ'd? Would he have been able to pull off the double? The fitness clearly showed there tonight. The kind of race that unfolded in the 15 final also suits, his strengths. And so, it's kind of crazy to also remind yourself like how young he is and where he is already at this point in his career. Truly an epic night of racing. And so A+ execution by Cole Hocker.
What about Gressier?
Gressier leaves these world championships with like, I think like a different.
I thought it looked like he was going to win with 200 to go. It was like, oh, Gressier, he's got it.
Yeah. And I think, with respect to him, I guess like after the 10K, we kind of were like, all right, like it was a slow race and like they left it up to a kick, and when you leave it to that, like someone like him could sneak in and get the win. But now he's proven himself, I guess, now that he's got the tools to be able to contend in a variety of different races. And so people will view Gressier differently next time around. Isaac Kameli, same way. Like he had the win in Brussels over Grant, or was it Brussels or Lausanne? One of the two. And people were just sort of like, oh, okay. Like again, that's what happens when you leave it to a kicker's race. And now he backs it with a silver medal here for Belgium. So a really strong podium. Just off of it, Kai Robinson.
Yeah, huge run by Kai.
If you think about it, all things considered, and we'll get to the women's 800, a solid world championships for OAC with Sage finishing as high as she did. You got Kai here, the gold medal by George Beamish. Yes, like the likes of Yard Nagoose and Ollie Hoare were left at home.
Josette
finishing super high. So
the
while maybe throughout the season they have tons of stars that were battling injuries throughout the year, the ones that made it here definitely performed well, and I think that team could take that as a catalyst for 2026. So strong performance by him. And then we're
surprised to see Jakob honestly finish
10th,
13 flat.
Yeah,
it's just with you can never be like too surprised with Jakob running times like this, but with just how he looked in the earlier races in this championships, I was kind of surprised to see him place as high as he did, run as fast as he did. But yeah, I mean, like the entire field was right around 13 flat or under, besides a few people that might have fallen off the pack a bit. But yeah, this race had genuinely everything you could want in a championship 5K.
Chris, what was his quote that he said afterwards? Something about like I wouldn't want to be sitting at home watching or something like that.
It was on his Instagram. I got it right here. Pulling it up right now. It was basically, let's see, he said, and he also posted this like within like 10 minutes after the race had ended. I was like, oh, he's quick with it. Go big or go home. The only thing worse than finishing 10th would have been watching the World Championships happen from home. I run because I love competition. I will never miss an opportunity to test myself against the best. Thank you to everyone for the support these past few challenging months. I don't need to tell you that I will be back. You know that already. But for now, it's time to take a few days to recover and relax with my family. Thank you, Japan.
Cool as hell.
Yeah,
Big
I'm
respect
pumped
to
he showed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jakob.
really awesome.
Yeah, it lights a fire into him. And, kind of the cool part to this, too, is that Cole doesn't have to show his cards in the 5K all that much between now and 2027. I'm sure he'll want to chase, a fast time at BU, or even, I guess, throw him into the American record conversation in both the 15 and 5K because he's so talented. But he can start to pull the similar move that Jakob does, and it's like, don't get as quick as you can in the 1500 and then just show up to the championship in the 5K.
What I love, and Cole isn't afraid to lead, but we've yet to see him lead in a way that Jakob kind of does, especially over the final 2K. I hope Anderson's okay. Jeez. But yeah, I can't wait for Jakob to kind of come back, because he's one of the only athletes, or the only athlete that'll press a race when everyone else doesn't want to. And we saw that happen today, where it kind of slowed down a little bit around 3 to 4K. And they just have crazy contrasting styles. And Jakob's he's going to say something on if you're not leading, what are you doing? That's not racing, because that's just his mindset. And Cole is someone that in these 5Ks and 15s isn't going to be leading, 600 meters out. I can't wait. It's going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah. I guess one of the final points, Eric, is a little bit of a head scratcher for Grant Fisher. He's been going at it for so long with the indoor season, the slams, kind of trying to fine tune those race tactics. Maybe just a little too burnt by the time he got here to Tokyo. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think exactly that. I think he's had a very long year. I mean, he ran 12:44 indoors in, what was it, March?
Yeah, February.
February. I mean, and yes, I'm sure he's taken some strategical downtimes and breaks in between that, but it still is just it's a very long year. And you also Grand Slam, it definitely takes a toll out of you. And you're seeing a lot of people that raced well in Grand Slam struggle towards the end of this season and into the championship season. It is what it is. It doesn't seem like the sprinters were as affected, but you are seeing some of the distance athletes not looking quite as sharp as they usually would in a race like this. And Grant Fisher, this is in a similar cut to Jakob, in that this is just going to be fuel to the fire, and this is a learning thing, right? He is going back with his coach to reassessing how the year went and talking about how to not let this happen again. And so I think I'm sure he's very disappointed, but of course, Grant being Grant, you're going to see a whole lot more of him.
Yeah. All right. Epic all-time men's 5K performance. Let's jump on over to the women's 800, which also, if
fantastic race.
Yeah. If this meet, we came into this one being okay, I think I have an idea of who's going to win this race. Provided another extra surprise for us as Mary Mora, the reigning world champion, decides to take it and make it as a super honest race. They hit the 400 mark in 55.6. Keeley was kind of battling to try and be the one up in the front. Tried, sat on the heels of Mary Mora for a bit, but going into that bell lap, it was just some jostling for who. There was an inside pass on Mary Mora.
I'm pretty sure.
And at 500, Keely Hodgkinson had made that inside pass.
Yeah, so there was someone who she decided to be a rail merchant, and luckily that opened up for her. But man, I think honestly, this, because me along with everybody else for the most part thought Keely is the heavy favorite. It's kind of her race. And I think to see how much energy she used fighting to maintain that position. There was about honestly 3 maybe more surges to hold off
Yeah.
Mary Mora, and there's no way that doesn't affect you in a race like the 800 at the speed that they were running. We thought that this was going to be a race that's going to be won quick in under 155, and because of just the starting list and how these athletes love to get after it. So I think if she could run that back, she'd say, look, I maybe I don't use all this energy to hold off Mary. Maybe I let her take it and sit on her shoulder at some point. I don't know. But yeah, there was a lot of action up front. She ended up paying for it, severely down the home stretch. But what is she going to do when she had Adira charging?
Well, even before Odie, it was Georgia Hunter Bell. Her training partner
for sure. But I'm trying to yes, Georgia Hunter Bell did come up on Keely's shoulder before Adira did, but Odira's last 100, there's no stopping that. And man, this, and again, this was the race that opened up tonight's action on the track, and it really set the pace, set the tone for the events to follow. And it was because this whole day, this was this was by far the best day, best energy at the track for sure. The crowd was going crazy for the relays, for these distance events, and this was a perfect way to set up the night.
Yeah, Mac.
Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say, I think Mary Mora is one of my favorite athletes in the entire sport, just because it's so clear to see her racing. Like you can see the moves that she's making, and they're a little bit more dramatic maybe than others, but you can really plainly see in front of you how she's affecting the race. And that, yes, it's happening in other races and a little bit more subtly, but she had a huge impact on this race, even though she finished 7th. And it just goes to show you how hard it is, even if you're as fit as someone like Keely, to combat those tactics from other athletes. It was fascinating to me that Mary wasn't closing in down on the rail. She could have shut out Keely 2 or 3 times and kept the window. It was really, really interesting. She could have really hosed Keely there a couple times.
She learned from the school of a thing Mo and left too much space.
Yeah, and left it out there, and then she pulled the chute and went through the pack. Georgia Hunter was up more in front than she usually is. I think that's the thing that I was most critical of going into this, was she tends to run really far in the back and storms through. She was further up in the pack, and I think that kind of allowed her to really have the success that she did today. But I don't think anyone's beaten Odira in today, regardless of what Mary Moore is doing up front or where Georgia Hunter Bell is. It was her day.
And first off, the Kenyan distance women, my God,
first time in history that a single country has swept all of the distance races. So we're talking 800 with Odira tonight, 1500 with Faith Kipyegon, 5K with Beatrice Chebet, 10K with Beatrice Chebet, 3,000 meter steeplechase with Faith Chirodich, marathon with Paris Chepchirchir.
Wow.
And then the total opposite is Ethiopia, leaving with 0 gold medals. I think they had their worst ever world championships. And so, but I mean, for Kenya, this has to go down as probably their greatest world championships.
Yeah. Oh,
for sure.
Oh man. Georgia Hunter Bell, the decision to focus on the 800 paid off, in spades with this silver medal over Keely and the field like this. What a performance by her.
Yeah. Odira also too just kind of flew under the radar, I think, coming into this meet for sure. We can probably do a quick search on our preview, and I forget if I'd even mentioned her. In a similar vein, didn't we talk about this couple days before that Cole Hocker wasn't even mentioned in the World Athletics preview of the men's 5K. And so so then I'm looking at Odira, and it's why didn't I think about her a bit more coming into this one? Last year she qualified for the Olympic team. She won like their national championships and goes to Paris, only makes it to the semifinals. And at that point, like it took her 2 PBs at the Olympics. She ran 158.83 in the heats, and then 158.53 in the semis. This year, so I mean, she started the year as a 158 runner, is now ending it as a 154.62 runner, and at the World Indoor Championships, only reached the semis. Did only raced one Diamond League meet where she in Poland, where she ran 156 PB, but in that race that was a Keeley return, and where Keeley ran 154. So that's again like Keeley stole the headline, and so everyone was kind of looking at that, and so it makes it just like I guess like it's fine to think like where did she come from? Just quite the jump this year for sure. And so I'll be so curious to see just how her next couple years develop. She's 26 years old. If I'm looking at this, like this was the last 2 years have been the first 2 years where she's really ventured outside of Kenya to race. So we'll just see. I guess she's obviously going to get more invites to bigger meets. I don't know much about just kind of like her training, who coaches her, but definitely a new name to learn.
Shout out to Sage Hurticlecker.
Absolutely.
Huge shout out to
absolutely
third fastest U.S. time in history.
Third fastest U.S. time in history, and it's just so cool to see. We've talked into these microphones on and off air relentlessly about like, oh, should Sage move up? And we've been saying the same thing for 4 years, and she just stayed at the 800, and she hasn't made a team year after year after year. Doesn't make the U.S. team, and then she finally makes it onto this team going to Tokyo, and is the lone American in both the men's and women's 800 final. Out of everyone, she's the last one standing, and totally capitalizes on that with just incredible performance.
Yeah.
Was this the championship record?
Yes. Yeah. So I mean, like, 154.62 championship record. The podium was all 154 runners. Sarah Mora finishing fourth in 155.74. She's the one who had all the KT tape on her leg and had to be carried off the track. So I was like kind of amazed by seeing her run that well, here. But yeah, Sage in fifth place, even she had just like kind of this total look of shock once the time popped up on the board. Audrey Guerrero underperformed in this one. She faded to 6th. Mary Mora, after that super hard move, faded but still ran 157. And then Jess Hall that's a 157 that was very calculated in terms of just like she was always she was in the back of the race the whole time.
I mean, that first they got off the line today. I think they were through in 26 point. Yeah, 26.4. And Jess, yes, it was always going to be something that Jess was going to fight and have to battle and claw her way into, because yes, she was probably 30 meters. Like there was a huge gap to Jess that first 100, 150. She had to really, really slowly but surely get her way back into the race. But yeah, she's had an amazing championship, so I'm sure she's leaving very happy.
We're getting just a couple of the insights coming from the mix zone, and so I think my first thought when Keeley crossed the finish line in bronze, I was like, she's going to be devastated, especially because of like the pre-race hype probably that was centered around her, the Olympic champion posting the fastest time coming into this, and like all signs were pointing to like this is going to be another gold medal for Keely Hodgkinson. And then I think it was soon after when Georgia's silver medal gets put up on the board, and then Keely's confirmed for the bronze, and you see them embrace. I was like, okay, all right, she's going to be all right. And then she came through the mix, and she said, if you'd have told me back in June that I'd even be here running a 154 in the final, I wasn't even in spikes in June. When you put that into perspective, it's nothing to be too disappointed about. And so I kind of think back to like a couple, world championships back in 2022 where Rye Benjamin, I think, got was that a silver or bronze Anderson for Rye in 2022? I think he's got an AirPod on. But whatever it was, Rye, when he came over to our backyard, said like, yeah, I mean, like this might be a bronze, but it shines. Oh no, it was a silver. This one shines a bit brighter than
Great
last
line.
year's, because
line.
when you take all things into consideration, sometimes like, yeah, this is a bronze, but I bet she looks at it, with like it's got a different shimmer, for sure, because she, like she said, she wasn't even in spikes in June. So there's a World Ultimate Championships next year. She's got a spot in that as the reigning Olympic champion. So very impressive, all things considered, to see what she was able to do in such a short span of time.
Yeah, it's good to have this adversity, right?
Yeah.
Like true champions aren't just like they're champions after going through hard moments in your career. It's always more impressive when you see these people go through hard times and low points and bounce back to be where they were at or even better than before. So I would imagine this is just like the other people that like we talked about with Jakob. This is just a stepping stone, and still, yes, she clearly has a good head on her shoulders to be able to look at it and say, look, this is I came away with the medal. I was hurt for a very long time throughout this whole year, a lot of pressure on me, and and she still was able to come away with the medal. So yeah, it's a good mindset to have.
Yep. Someone theorizing in the YouTube chat, was that team tactics by Team Kenya? I don't think so, because I would think I don't think there's any connection between Mary Moore and Lilian Odira. It just so happens that that's what Mary thought that the best approach is going to be toward the race. All right. So that is the women's 800. Excellent race. You can watch that back over and over again because it was good. All right. And then after that, we had some relay action taking place. Anderson, come on over and let's chat through these relays because they were good. At this point, the rain started coming down in the stadium. I like how the stadium is built because like it allowed for a lot of the fans to stay dry. Anderson needs a mic. That the fans for the most part I think stayed dry, and then it just kind of like funneled immediately and dumped onto all of the athletes and on the track.
It was bad.
Yeah,
It looked beautiful.
It was poetic.
It was
really
epic.
was.
Yeah,
they have the athletes standing out there for like 20 minutes
they were there for a long time.
in pouring rain. It was
Vernon
crazy.
Norwood's on the start line just cracking up laughing because he
Yeah.
knew that he's like, this sucks for everybody. But in particular, I guess like the first couple steps that Vernon took in the race, I was like, I feel like we got more puddles than everyone else. Like in lane one.
I feel like this was a setup.
Yeah. So let's get into the men's 4x4. We knew that this was going to be a battle between Botswana and the United States. And the United States held strong for a good portion of it. Vernon with a strong first leg, handing off to Jacori. So it's Jacori versus Tobogo. Jacori holds off Tobogo before the handoff, even though Tobogo split 44.05 on that second leg. And a reminder, the second leg is typically the fastest.
Yeah. But reminder, to your point, Jacori was running out of lane one.
Yeah.
It was like the most puddles. So like for him to run this fast is actually really good, 44.20.
And then from there, hands off to Caleb McRae. Caleb has a little bit of a battle there with Bayapo and Dory.
Yeah.
That's when it really started to get a bit tighter. And then when Rye Benjamin takes the baton in fourth place, as a United States fan, like you feel good about it because we've seen this play out before, and he doesn't have the threat of Letsile Tobogo
On that
but
anchor,
he still had
but not Chippy, the gold medalist from the gold medalist from the 400.
That's the thing. It's like,
and he just ran 43.6 gold or whatever, 43.5.
Kevin Chippy, not a household name because it's very hard to say, but
Definitely not.
he is now making a case that I think like everyone will be able to spell Kebinat-Shippey and say it by the end of these world championships. So he ends up just, I guess, like the Rye got after it and was closing in. Like he could not have, sniffed out that finish line any sooner.
Yeah.
But in those final 50 meters, it was clear that he was tying up a little bit. And when you're out in front, you've got a target on your back. And so Kebinat-Shippey just immediately locked in and managed to get him just before the finish line. It almost looked like South Africa was almost going to get them too.
They finished with the same time, 2:57.8 and 8:3, and for the United States, same thing for South Africa. Like it was literally to the line, and I mean, I think that
point 0.002 seconds is
by separating U.S. and South Africa, which was crazy. I think that Botswana might have kind of, I guess, smelt blood in the water, considering everything that unfolded with the United States over the past 2 days with, the whole, getting, blocked by Zambia in the heats, having to run, less than 12 hours later, this morning with, the rerun with Kenya, successfully qualifying and then finally getting the team into the final. And then to cap things off, everything with pouring rain. Like I feel like things were just going against the United States today. But I mean, all things considered, for the United States to be able to hold on and get the silver medal, it's pretty impressive, considering everything that came together. Spoke with Rye and Vernon, the whole team afterwards, and they said that honestly, they didn't, obviously because we didn't qualify, they didn't know if they were going to run. And then like they also were unsure just on like the relay legs and like what order and like all kinds of things like that. So and even Rye, he did drop in the interview that like he was kind of out a little bit last night. So
Really?
I mean, he dropped a little bit. I mean, not to say he also didn't give any excuses, right? He's like a professional. He knows, all right, I got to show up for my team. So
he's like, I shouldn't have said that. Probably.
He's like, I shouldn't have been a karaoke. Maybe I should have called it after one song.
Yeah.
But
I do want to give kudos to Botswana though. Like the fact that they got the silver medal last year behind the United States in an epic, head-to-head race. Now they get the gold medal, and there's a degree of me that feels like this was the time for Botswana to win gold because they got 3 guys in the final. They won in the 400 final. They won the gold medal. They won the bronze medal. It was like, and then Teboho just missed the podium in the 200. It was like things were coming together for Botswana to get the gold medal. If it was going to be a time, this was probably the time for them to do it.
I presume first ever gold medal in the 4x4.
First ever for Botswana. First ever for any African nation.
Wow,
to
really?
win a gold in the 4x4. Yeah,
Huge.
this
That's
was
huge.
This pin was going nuts.
This was, I think, of all of the entire week, the stadium was going the most crazy for this 4x4. The men's, they were really at one point me and Mac like looked around because I thought we were sitting in like the Botswana section. They were like actually going crazy. So this was a super fun race. Probably one of the highlights of the World Championships experience, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think that this was a long time coming. I think I like this rivalry if it's something that's going to take shape.
Yeah.
In addition to that, piggybacking off what Eric just said, it just kind of goes to show that the 4x4 is the way to close out the meet. Like I personally didn't really think that it should have been the 4x1 at the front. I kind of think I understand it with Japan probably being more of a factor.
I mean,
the 4x1.
Yeah, that was clearly.
Yeah,
that's probably why it was changed up here. But if
that was fun though, like to see the crowd, they were losing it when they were introducing the Japanese team, and they put the camera on each of the legs. And each one of them had like a kind of a different intro, pose. And it was everybody was actually kind of losing their minds in the stands.
I saw something on Twitter, which was really cool, is that, and I don't, again, like I'm not a big anime guy, but like anime guy, but like there's been multiple like intros that people have done with like references to anime. Like I don't know, like Noah had some X written on his arm. I don't know what any of this stuff means, but like then I saw a side by side of like that was like I think it was called One Piece.
Yeah, One Piece is a really really crazy popular
Is it?
anime. Yeah.
You
I
watch it?
don't watch anime, but like One Piece is big.
Okay.
One Piece
Yeah.
is
So
huge.
like Noah was playing to the crowd, like he had it, on his arm. People were doing the poses as they were from different shows and stuff. But so like if you're a big anime guy, like then you probably would have been able to like pick up on all of these different things. And so the atmosphere in the 4x4. Even the 4x1 is good. Hey, really quick, like, kudos to South Africa on that third one. But let's talk about Wade Van Niekerk's
I was about to say,
third leg.
Wade Van Niekerk
He really put him back into the race.
43-2 is what's being reported.
Yeah, what's being reported by a couple of people. Like I don't know why the official splits aren't up, but yeah,
because I can't believe it.
Yeah, like I know they were like, what? Wade Van Niekerk, like obviously he's the Olympic gold medalist, the world record holder in the 400. For whatever reason, he's been running the 200 last year and this year. And
well,
it's
he
like,
said at one point, he's like, I hate the 400.
He hates the 400.
He's like, it was just
like,
kind of like a curse that he's like, I was really good at it, and
I
was forced to do it.
Did he hate the 400 even when he was?
I think
while he was racing it.
Yes. Yeah.
It is like one of the worst pains you'll feel.
Yeah.
Like it actually makes total sense why he would hate it. But you would think that
the
success, it would be like a mandatory. You have to run the 400. It's like, yeah, look, you guys suck it up for 45 little less seconds.
True.
But this was flashbacks of like prime Van Niekerk on that leg.
Absolutely. Like 44.2 is one of the fastest splits in history. Like if this is accurate, it's like one of the fastest 4x4 splits in history. But like even aside from that, I think because this entire South African team is really, really young, except for Wade, I think he really wanted to do it for his team. It's almost a way of like, all right, I'm literally passing the baton off to this next generation, right? He's in his 30s or something like that. It's almost 10 years, removed from his world record in Olympic gold. I think he's just like, listen, this is my chance this might be, who knows, my last time, competing with this team. Let me make sure I can execute for them and give them something to celebrate, right? I think that was a big one for Wade. I mean, it's crazy. He went crazy. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's not done. He's far from being done.
He's not done. As long as, I don't know. I'd love to see him in the 400 again, but as long as he's still running, we're going to watch.
Did Botswana say anything fun or interesting in the mix
No,
zone?
didn't get a chance to speak with them. It was really weird down there. They were pushing them through for like the medal ceremonies, but then some of the athletes wanted to come back. So Botswana, they kind of rolled through, but then I guess they came back for African media, so didn't get a chance to speak with them. But I mean, they were high stepping through the mix zone. Like I think I saw it on the track. They doing
a high step celebration. I was gonna say, so they high stepped right from the finish line through the mix zone. They're high stepping through the streets right now.
Yeah, I want to know where that after party is.
Yeah.
That's
The Botswana
so
one. Max, did you see what I sent you? Or can you pull it up on the screen? He's trying to. I found the anime intros. I just want to show it to the YouTube crowd because they probably would understand it and appreciate it a little bit more.
I feel like Japan has been like the dream place for all these athletes because they didn't get the experience at the Olympics last time. And now I feel like every athlete is just talking about like anime and manga, like all kinds of things right now. It's just been
see, there it is. Like every one of the people being introduced for the 4x4,
4x1 for Japan.
I had like a different thing. Noah actually did the first one too, before the 200 meter final. Like he did I don't know what they're doing and all those, so I'm not even going to pretend to explain it. Yeah, but creative.
That's crazy. That's pretty cool.
By the time they got to like by the time the big screen got to like the third leg, there were like people having like seizures and like strokes in the stands. They loved it so much. And I was losing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this must mean something.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, super. We need more of it. It's fun to see Because did anyone from Japan get a medal in this world
walks? I think they got 2 in the walks.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was
in
only
the race walks?
in the race walks. That was only 2 medals they got.
God, I blew it by not going to those. But it's fun to see the crowd really cheer regardless of positioning, right? Like they're cheering for these athletes. They could be in last place, and you would think that they're in the hunt for a medal. It's fun to see, and it's fun to be a part of in the stands.
Yeah, I also just find it interesting. I love the crowd. I love the athletes, the Japanese crowd and athletes. And then it's really interesting, like you said, no matter where they finish, they're cheering. But then also when the athletes finish, like they will bow to every corner of the entire stadium to make sure that they're like, showing their respect, obviously. But it's crazy. It's pretty dope.
We got to take back bowing with us to the States.
Yes, I like bowing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, then we had the women's 4x4, which was not a surprise whatsoever, because the United States has the best team in the world, and so we went Isabel Whitaker, Luna Irby-Jackson, Aaliyah Butler, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone. And by the time I got to Sydney, it was Sharpie, already starting engraving them. They start engraving the medals as soon as the handoff goes to Sydney. Even in the rain and on the wet track, Sydney splits 47.82.
47.8. Yeah.
Imagine what that would have been on a dry track.
Dry track.
Yeah.
I mean, she would have split 47 low. This was big. Like you said, they by the time even like Lena Irby-Jackson, because she split 48.7, which is wild.
Mm-hmm.
By the time she handed off to Aaliyah Butler, the race was over. This was, sealed, what did it say?
Sealed, signed, sealed, delivered.
Signed, sealed, delivered. There we go.
Good movie too.
Right? Like, and I think it's a perfect capstone to like what Sydney has done at these championships, winning gold in like perfect fashion in the 400, like becoming one of the greatest of all time across the board. Then to anchor this team, right? She had run second leg for the United States on actually most of the 4x4s. I think maybe in Eugene she ran the anchor leg, but she had been running second leg for many of these 4x4s, and now she gets to anchor things off in the perfect way, running 47.8. What I found interesting was everyone had been calling for Femke versus Sydney on the 4x4 at some point, or in an open 4, and like we got it. Just obviously not the way that people think. Now, clearly, even if Femke got the baton at the same time, it wouldn't have mattered. But I mean,
Sydney should have waited for Femke at the start and then taken off. Another impressive leg in this whole thing. Well, so Jamaica ends up with the silver medal here.
Yeah, silver medal. Nikisha Price ran really fast.
Price, 48.5.
Yeah, that was big. And then Netherlands got the bronze medal. I guess it was interesting. In my mind, and I'm kind of looking back at the mixed relay too, in my mind, I thought Femke would do a lot better on these relays, right? We've known her as like running down. Oh, if Femke is like super close, she's going to be able to run down some team. I thought she would be more competitive, but in this and in the mix, it seemed like she was just like, all right, I'm just too far behind. I'm just going to let it go. Like,
and then she wasn't even as dominant as I thought she would be, like in the 400 hurdles. Either. So, I mean, there could be some athletes can end up banged up heading into a championship, and we don't know honestly, like if that was the case, but it wasn't as electrifying. And well, we set this really high standard in the bar for Femke.
That's true.
But USA comes away with the gold. So Sydney takes a double gold, and I was trying to think, like, I guess like it's been fairly common to win 400 gold and then 4x4 because it's Phyllis Francis, like Alison Felix,
Sonia Richards-Ross has done it. It's pretty common throughout, but I mean, it does add to the fact that now Sydney has 400 gold, 4x4 golds and world records, and now 4x4 golds. Like that is I actually don't think any woman has done that. I don't think any woman has done that. Lashinda Demas has a 4x4 gold and a 400 hurdle gold, but we're talking about 3 different events. Sydney is GOAT. GOAT.
Then we shift on over to the 4x1s. We started off with the women's race, which was a good one. This was good.
This was competitive and still still raining. Like the rain is
Yeah.
still, it's not as heavy as the men's 4x4. That was like torrential downpour, but it's still raining.
And the U.S. women in the 4x1 have experience in the rain because that's what happened in Paris.
Paris last year. Yeah.
The fun part, I guess, before the race is like as people are getting introduced, I noticed the Clayton twins were doing something where they were like tucking their hands underneath like their
I didn't even
tops,
see
so they're
that.
keeping their receiving hand dry. And I was like,
Oh, that's smart.
I was like, that's
wow.
smart. I was like, I never thought
Yeah,
about
that is really smart.
I mean, it helped them, but it didn't necessarily. It wasn't everything for them because Melissa Jefferson-Wooden takes off against Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce.
Shelly went crazy.
And Shelly split faster, actually.
Yeah.
11:32 for Shelly and then 11:38 for Melissa Jefferson-Wooden.
Yeah, I was watching. When I was watching, I was like, my eyes were just locked in on Melissa because I'm like, all right, she's coming in, right? We saw Jason in the heats. Now Melissa, who's literally the golden girl of these championships, coming in on first leg. We've seen her run first leg at multiple championships at this point, and I'm like, all right, she's about to explode, and she does. But then in my eyes go to Shelly, and I'm like, whoa, like Shelly in literally her final race of her career at the World Championships, like this was it for Shelly, and she blasts off like as if she was like, no, like I'm gonna put on a show for my last one. That was a good first leg.
Yeah. And then she hands off to Tia Clayton. MJW hands off to TT Terry.
Yeah.
And TT is the one who really kind of saves this race for the United States
Yeah,
from getting out
yeah.
of hand and to Jamaica, because TT splits 993. I mean, these splits, of course, like
Take
in
it with a
4x1,
grain of salt.
Take everything with a grain of salt here.
It's her like,
But TT had an explosive leg, and then at the same time, like I trust her with these handoffs. Like she's got so much relay experience.
TT Terry might be like the best relay runner that we've seen in the United States since an Allison Felix
What about Jenna Prandini?
Or Jenna Prandini too. Yes. Shout out to Jenna Prandini. Yeah, like, but she's just in that realm of like, she's going to execute on her leg or whatever leg you put her on, and make sure that the team is together. Make sure that the team is getting at least the gold medals now. Like USA has won gold at every championships since 2022, and even the way that TT speaks, like in the mix zone afterwards, in whatever interviews, like she really is a leader.
I think so too.
She is a true leader and like the glue for the 4x1. And yeah, I think she should be on every 4x1 at this point. Like,
wow.
I really do think so. So
yeah. They ended up going with the Dennis Mitchell squad,
The whole
because
squad,
then from there it goes TT to Kayla White to Sha'Carri Richardson, and all of this was kind of building up. And by the time it gets to Sha'Carri, it's like your level of trust and your heart rate kind of goes down, because it's like, all right, the United States is in good hands.
Yeah.
And Sha'Carri pulls away.
She does. Well,
I mean, it was pretty close.
I was gonna say it's kind of close. Jamaica was actually kind of running Sha'Carri down a little bit there. And
yeah.
They were kind of running her down. And what's interesting here is I didn't look at the start. I only knew who USA was running. I didn't know who Jamaica was running. And so I'm watching the race and I'm like, okay, Sharika is running Sha'Carri down.
Yeah,
then I
Sharika.
realized like Sharika wasn't there. And I have no idea why, but this was Janelle Smith instead of Sharika. So it was interesting.
Yeah, is there any, I guess, like, can we speculate on any sort of just like rift between the Jamaican Athletics Association and
I don't think it was a riff. I mean, granted, who knows? After the 200, that's the only time that Sharika stopped to talk, and she said that she was going to be on the 4x1. So I don't know. The only, I guess, the initial thing that I thought was Sharika just had a long championships. This year, she wasn't really as fit. You know, she was kind of building back off of not getting medals, you know, being injured last year at the Olympics. And she probably may have just been exhausted, or maybe she didn't get a chance to like practice with the team. I don't know. That was my initial speculation, but it was surprising to not see Sharika there. But I mean, Jamaica still, again, they held their own. They held their own. And then I think Germany was the bronze medal coming up with Gina Lukenkemper. They actually got bronze last year at the Olympics, so they were able to double back, which is pretty good.
Great Britain off the podium. What went wrong here?
That was tough. They,
I mean, seriously,
I mean,
they were a contender. I mean, it was close,
yeah, absolutely. They were medalists. They should have been medalists on paper.
Yeah.
Their last handoff wasn't great.
Is it the order? Should Amy Hunt have
Amy Hunt
anchored?
ran.
and switch.
This was the same. I forget who ran the third leg for Great Britain.
Desiree Henry.
So this was I think this was the same team from the Olympics last year. I forget if someone was different, but it was Dean Asher-Smith, Amy Hunt, and then Daryl Nita on anchor. So I don't know. I think there's things to consider of just like Daryl Nita maybe isn't in the as greatest form considering last year. Dean Asher-Smith maybe not in the best form. Amy Hunt is in the form of her life, but who knows? It's really, really tricky. I do want to note here as well that USA getting gold gives Melissa Jefferson-Wooden the triple, sprint triple.
MJW becomes the first American woman to win all 3 gold medals at the World Championships.
Yep.
The only other woman in history to do that is Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce at Worlds.
2013.
And yeah, this was Melissa's year with the 100 PR that puts her at number 4 all time.
Yeah.
The 200 PR that puts her at number 8 all time. 3 gold medals at the World Championships. Just dominance from start to finish.
Yeah.
What a breakout year. We got a taste of it in 2024.
Yeah.
This all began really the takeoff began in 2022. Last year, just even coming off of the Olympics, you're kind of just like, well, like I wish Melissa was just like a bigger star name, and then this I think will do wonders for people to familiarize themselves with her in the lead up to the home Olympics in LA.
Olympics. Yeah, this was so big for Melissa, and everything. Like this was a truly a dream season. Like I think she lost one single race this year, and it was the 200 in Miami. That's the only race she lost this year. The only time she,
but that race still won her the slam title.
Exactly.
I guess like add to that, just like racer of the year, like, 3 Grand Slam titles, and $400,000 someday. So like a huge year for
this was so big, and I'm so happy for Melissa because she, like you said, she wasn't like the star that people had known her as. She came out of NCAA. She's relatively reserved, kind of. I remember even in Eugene after she made the 100-meter final, but she finished I think last place in that race, but she was just like, yo, I'm happy to be here. Like this is my first final out of college, and now we see her coming into the championships here. She's like, no, I feel like I'm chasing other people. I feel like I'm the underdog. I feel like I need to prove myself, and she delivers in the best way possible, winning 3 consecutive 3 gold medals. And obviously the first at the World Championships for the United States, but she joins Wilma Rudolph, who's literally a legend, and also Florence Griffith-Joyner, also a legend, as they did it at the Olympic Games. So like this is history. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden making absolute history at the World Championships.
Amazing. And then with Shelly-Ann, if we're just kind of crunching those stats, she finishes her World Championship career with 17.
It's crazy.
Is it 17 or 15? It's 17
I think it's 17, yeah.
10 gold, 6 silver, 1 bronze.
It's crazy.
Wow.
That's
World Championships. And then I think if you add the Olympic ones.
and Olympics.
Wow. Like I think that's another 9. So I think it's
that's crazy.
26 total medals.
Wow. That's
that
Mac
is like, we were throwing around greatest American distance runner of all time for Cole Hocker, and he's got two medals. We need more distance relays. Yeah.
What's great is that
and then with the numbers with Shelly, like remember she missed 2017 to have her kid.
That's so true.
So she would have had more back then.
That's actually
like
crazy.
Her prime.
That's actually crazy.
So does she have the most medals in track and field?
Most decorated athlete, I think.
Is she? Maybe no, Allison. I think Allison is. Yeah. Because the benefit of Allison is she was doing the 4x1s and 4x4s.
Yeah.
So she had
at the end she got mixed, right?
And she did the mix. Yeah, right? That's true. It's actually so true.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember in Eugene, she ran the mixed relay, and then she went back to LA, and they called her back to run on the heats of the 4x4. I think at the Eugene World Champs.
Yeah, she was like, the famous quote I think was that she was enjoying chicken wings or something.
Yeah.
When she got the call to go and rejoin the team.
Yeah, but I mean, Shelly-Ann, like to your point, this was her final race. The first question or the first thing that was said in the mix zone was like, the final race of your career. And she was like, I still have my kids race, coming up in the future. So, she's an amazing athlete. She's an amazing person. And to see her cap off her career with an amazing, getting a silver medal on the 4x1 and running an amazing first leg. I think the impact that Shelly-Ann has left on this sport is going to be very, very hard for anyone to top. Like, I was in Jamaica and even Usain Bolt was like, yo, Shelly is at the same level as me in terms of what she's done for Jamaican track and field, what she's done for the sport on a whole. And like all of these different women, I think Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, after they finished, like I don't know what she exactly said, but I remember I saw her go up to Shelly and embrace her and be like, she must have said something like, yo, you're one of the reasons I'm here. Like, all these women have almost like come up under Shelly as she is like almost the godmother of, this current generation of track and field in a sense.
You know what I feel like this championship didn't have enough of, I guess, from our media standpoint, is press conferences, where like in the past in Budapest and even in Paris, like you get the press conference interactions between like Melissa Jefferson-Wooden and like Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce. We had that with like Sha'Carri and Sharika, all that kind of stuff that like we just didn't get enough of that.
Had that out
here.
Eugene.
Yeah.
So,
but in general, just there's some great respect between these generations of all-time sprinters. So it sounds like Shelly-Ann is done competing at the professional level. Like I thought for some reason there'd be like a chance that she would do Athlos, but especially New York, Jamaican presence, the later start to the season and all that stuff like bodes well for like, all right, she could get one more. But I think at this point, like this is the exclamation point you want. Your career.
I think this was perfect. Like end your career with a medal, literally handing off the baton to the next generation. Like she actually literally did that. It's like she is ending off her career on her own terms. Doesn't have to, she's the GOAT. She's the GOAT.
All right. And then we had one more race on the day. We had the men's 4x1 relay.
Done.
Which, if you're watching in the stands, your hands are a little sweaty because you're just like, we've seen this before. Actually, but like to be fair to the Team USA, that's mostly at the Olympics. Not so much at the World Championships.
World Champs, we hold things together. We've medaled every time since 2017. Now, we haven't won gold every time. 2017, 2022, we got silver. But like, it seems like we're relatively consistent when it comes to World Championships.
Yeah. And then because the likes of South Africa earlier in the day didn't even, they didn't make it.
Dramatic.
Who else was another
threat? Great Britain didn't make it. I think those are the core two. Oh, and Jamaica also, of course, didn't make it. That's the other one.
So it was boding really well for the United States to be able to take this one.
It was playing well.
But also it was going to be USA versus Canada.
Yeah.
And
which it turned out to be.
It did. Coleman to Kenny to Courtney Lindsay to Noah. And then it was Aaron Brown to Jerome Blake to Brendan Rodney to Andre DeGrasse.
Yep. And
even after, Kenny... Well, Jerome Blake split faster than Kenny did on the second leg. And then from there... Courtney Lindsay kind of got the U.S. out in front to hand off to Noah Lyles. And Noah had to work a bit to, just make sure to stave off Andre DeGrasse.
Yeah, Andre was closing.
Was closing hard.
He was closing. I was like, for a second, so I spoke with them afterwards and I asked Noah, I'm like, you held off, Canada, or like Canada was super close to you. And he's like,
I heard this because I was standing by the mix zone at that point.
And he was just like, really? And I was confused for a second. Like, I know I just watched the race, but he's playing games, which is great, right? Like,
okay.
Well, maybe he's not.
People are going to be pretty out, like the crowd, the mob online, all that stuff, which likes to pile onto Noah Lyles whenever they can. They're going to take that clip and they're going to run with it. But like, I think this was an instance where you can, if you watch that after he says it, there's like an extra 5 seconds later where he does say just sort of like, no, seriously.
Okay,
like,
that is
I didn't see it. Like I didn't. And it's like, I think maybe Canadian media will clip just that one part and then like run with it.
That's fair.
But
Yeah,
I
no,
do
that's true.
genuinely think like Noah was unaware of what happened there toward the end.
That's fair. And it was raining. He was locked in, and like he also probably maybe understood like I have to make sure I execute this, right? Maybe he did he probably was watching the race before and maybe didn't see Canada right there, but he maybe saw, okay, it may be close. Let me make sure I'm just locked in and focused to make sure I can secure this gold medal. So yeah, I mean, but them defending their gold medals from 2023, this was a really, really strong performance. Noah, goes home with 3 medals, bronze in the 100, gold in the 2, gold in the 4x1. Kenny gets 2 medals as well. This is his first 4x1 medal. And we remember last year at the Olympics, Christian Coleman to Kenny B was really, really bad. They secure it now. So, and then Courtney Lindsay, he actually gets a medal now as well. He was in both the 100 and the 200, wasn't able to get anything, but he goes home with a medal. And same with Christian Coleman. I think Christian Coleman is one of the greatest starters in history, maybe even the best. So he's a solid, he's been solid. So yeah, this was big for the United States.
It's always really cool too when they celebrate together, after that. So it's like we had the women's 4x1 squad and the men's 4x1 squad. Taking photos and hugging on the track. It was, if you were keen to all of the drama off the track that had been taking place in the last like 2 months. So I did see Noah dap up Kenny. So you're like, okay, they're good. And then I saw Sha'Carri hug Christian, and I was like, there we go.
Okay.
I was like,
this is crazy.
This is the big happy ending that we wanted to all of the drama.
This is crazy. And also like this is a big success for the USA Relays in terms of them getting a new coach at the top of the year, and they come away with, 3 gold medals and then 1 silver across the 4x4 and the 4x1. I mean, I know that was on my mind of like, okay, especially the women, Michelle Lewis Freeman, she won 3 gold medals for the United States. She's no longer at USATF. They bring in a new coach. What is actually going to happen at this first World Championship since then? And yes, they delivered. They delivered.
Yeah. My only thought is like with coaching the women's 4x1, it feels like it's a team practice because
that's true. They're
squad.
Like, yeah.
But also just, I mean, it's a good sign of things overall in general. And I guess like a couple other events that were handed out just really quick in the men's decathlon, like Leo Neugebauer ends up winning. He left it all out there, and the final event was the 1500. I think it was like a 4-second PB where he ran 4:31. And he actually got taken, like, yes, there's a lot of photos of him celebrating with his flag. He did his in-stadium interview laying on the ground, and then he was actually taken off the track in a wheelchair.
Really?
Yeah, just because like he just emptied the tank in that event. And so good for him. Gold medal. It came down to that final event between him and Kyle Garland.
But shout out to Kyle for getting on that podium.
Yes. And then I was just looking to see. I was like, did the discus end up happening? And I think it's over. Daniel Stahl ends up with they cruised through that competition. Gold medal. Mikolas Alekna gets a silver, and Alex Rose is this from Samoa, ends up with the bronze medal. Paul Hof-Mahoney's at the stadium, I'm sure right now, gathering those interviews, and also so keep an eye out on Paul's channel, the Pauly Throws, and also the Pauly Throws show for a full recap of this, because I just remember seeing I was sitting next to him actually as the delay, this thing got weather delayed the whole and postponed for a bit, and he was like, so you're telling me like the whole stadium is going to be just watching the discus? And I was like, yeah, they're already starting the closing ceremony while the discus is happening, so I don't know how many people are actually going to stay through the whole thing. But I was like, it felt a little weird. Usually you want the final event to cap things off. It happened in Eugene too, where it's like it was out of their control, and Mondo ends up closing it out with a world record.
I was going to say that was
guys like slipping and sliding, and it looked dangerous. But the discus throw was very, very interesting.
That was really, awkward.
Yeah.
Because I saw like all the volunteers like lining up for I guess to like do the ceremony or something.
Yeah, so they handed off the ceremonial baton and I think maybe like the flag
or something to
from Japan to China.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, there was no Hungarian dude there to be just like, but also I'm here in the meantime between the two of you, because there is an Ultimate Champs next year, but we're gonna have to, we're 2 years away from the World Champs in China, and so to kind of close it all out in terms of just the overall feelings of these World Championships, the United States ends with a record-setting 16 gold medals.
That's a record. Wow.
Yeah, topping the medal table with a total of, give me 1 sec, it's populated, they're still counting, 26 medals, 16 gold, 5 silver, 5 bronze. Kenya, with a big help from the women, ends up second on the medal table with 11 total medals, 7 gold, 2 silver, 2 bronze. And it's Canada in third with 3 gold, 1 silver, 1 bronze, 5 total there. Jamaica does have 10 medals. They just ended up 10th on the medal table because there were so many silver. It was one gold, 6 silver, 3 bronze.
Wait, how many medals did USA get total?
26.
Oh, okay. That's really good. Yeah. I was just looking at Eugene. I was so surprised that, because they got 33 there, but like the fact that we surpassed gold medals from what we did at home in Eugene, that's big. Yeah,
I guess like, I'm trying to think where were the spots that we didn't get medals this time around.
So like women's 800 with Thingmo, right? You have the men's 100, right?
Yeah.
We got gold back then. Yeah, there's a couple that we missed out on. But yeah.
But I mean, it's really hard to hang your head on 26
I mean,
medals.
26 is still crazy.
All right, so before we close it out, MVP, who's your MVP and what's your most memorable race of this entire World Championships?
Oh, MVP.
I guess,
like Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, I think makes a great case to be MVP, but also like Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a toss-up between those two for me as far as the MVP goes. Favorite race? Sydney's 400 was something pretty special. I thought that was really, that was just a cool moment to see live. And I mean, Cole Hocker's 5K today was also up there. And so I think those two were my favorite races of this championships.
Yeah, you actually stole what I was gonna say. Yeah, I actually thought of Sydney's 400 and Cole's 5K today, which were insane. But yeah, I think for me, I think Melissa gets the edge over Sydney only because it's like obviously she got 3 gold medals, and this was like, it was almost like people knew Sydney was like a dominant athlete, and she further proved it today. But like Melissa, I think people were like, obviously, yes, gold medal favorite in the 100, stuff like that. But she really asserted her dominance as like, no, I'm here. Like this is me. This is the 100, the 200, the 4x1. I own this right now. So,
I mean, and first American woman to get titles in the 100 and 200 at a world championship. It's hard to give it to the MVP award to anyone but her.
It's big.
I think I'm gonna go MVP. It's so hard between Sydney and Melissa Jefferson-Wooden. I'm gonna go with, I think I'll go Sid. Just because like that 400 was
insane.
It was electric. But my favorite performance is George Beamish winning the men's.
That was
3K
crazy.
steeple.
That was great. Yeah.
Just it had shock, it had drama, and it also just sort of like from a personal level, it's like we're friends with the guy too, so that was really cool to see.
Was there
Coles too?
Yeah. I was gonna say, was there any like underdog performance of like, oh, like wow, like this person really?
Isaac Nader, I think was
Isaac Nader. I mean, Beamish is a good one to fill that category. Oh my God! I mean, Jimmy Gressier in the men's 10,000 meters.
So like most surprising moment, I think it's Isaac Nader.
I think it's for me. It's probably Jimmy Gressier winning the 10K for me.
That's big. That was big.
That's big.
I was trying to think if there was anything else that. Yeah, no, I think that was it.
Yeah. No.
All right, well, that does it for CITIUS Mag live from the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. Many thanks to ASICS for supporting all of our wall-to-wall coverage. From interviews to podcasts and newsletters, they did it all. And actually, like, I'll read a quick review that someone left on Apple Podcasts. It's the easiest way for you guys to show your support for us. It really helps us out. Someone just said, ties it all together. The best podcast about all things track and running and possibly sports in general. It brings the whole season together, weaves the narratives, and pumps everything up leading into the big meets. It feels like a group of friends chatting around a table with you. Definitely feels like you're part of something listening to this podcast, and like that's exactly what we're going for. We hope that we made all of this World Championship experience a bit more fun for you and easier to follow. We want you guys to know who the major players are, what to watch for, and get excited, because if it's exciting for us, we're hoping that it's contagious and can excite you. If you're one of the 1.7 million people who checked our schedule graphic every day, you're welcome. I just unpinned it, and I always like put on like Enya's Only Time as I unpin it, just because it's like such a ceremonial goodbye at that point. But also, many thanks to our social team for posting and keeping everyone up to date with all of the live updates, all of those result graphics, the photos. Our photographers, Johnny Zhang and Justin Britton, did an excellent job. Today, Johnny's phone stopped working in the downpour, and so we had Justin there to back him up as well. And so it really does take a team. David Ramelli, remote, we missed him out here in Tokyo for this one, where he was pumping out daily newsletters that summarize all of the action. We had Preet Majithia, Anderson Emerole, and Mitch and Paul in the mix zone. And so, yeah, I mean, overall, yeah, like I said, our social team, Jasmine, Audrey, really working hard. So, yeah, we sacrifice a lot of sleep to make this happen. These time zones were not easy. Oh, and also Aisha Pratlier on the other side of the world, jumping on every morning with Eric as well. So we've thrown so much at you, and we do it because we love the sport very, very deeply. So thanks again to everyone for tuning in. We hope that you enjoyed these World Championships, and we cannot wait to carry this on to cross-country season and to fall marathon season. That's the best part, is we don't really get that many breaks. So, but we actually will take a little bit of a down week ahead, maybe. All right, that does it. I've been Chris Chavez, Eric Jenkins, Anderson Emerole, Mac Fleet, and the whole team saying sayonara from Tokyo.